Hello everybody, and welcome to this deliciously looking AI rendering tutorial in which we are going to create this ramen bowl with this nice plastic handle, delicious looking food, and a wooden handle. Everything will start with a Fusion 360 model like this one. For those who have this model, I will show you how we have to adjust certain materials. For example, the three-dimensional wood of the handle has to be replaced. For all those who do not have this model, you can just download the USDZ file and the link is in the description of this video. Then we will go to Blender where we will design a backdrop, add a big area light, add also a disk onto which we then will map this delicious looking food. And because we have an area light, we can then also prototype how we would like this bowl to be illuminated. Going into full screen mode and turning everything off, moving around, we can then screenshot particular views, which then we can send actually to Viscom. And in Viscom, then we will load that image, write a nice prompt, experiment with the results. You see everything is really great. For example, I struggled a lot with the wooden bridge, or sometimes the handle tip was not as round. So I'm going to show you how we can play with different percentages for the palette to then create more matching results of what we want, and then making a copy, in this case for me, of this image, removing everything besides this bridge, and then using this great enhance function to simply selecting these two images and creating a new one like this. Perfect. Okay, let me show you now how this works. So starting in Fusion 360, we want to export our CAD file as a USDZ mesh model. So when we go to File, Export, and then select USDZ, we will get an error message. And that one states that in this case, the 3D maple and 3D walnut materials, which are three-dimensional procedural materials, not 2D images, aren't really supported to be exported and will be replaced with steel satin. And that's not really what we want. So we can cancel this, press A to call the appearance menu. A very simple workaround is we go to other space material. I select here the space material opaque. I could drag this in there, then change the color and drag this one onto the handle. Very good. So this is not a three-dimensional material anymore. And then we could go to export. Again, go to USDZ. You will get, or in my case, I get this warning because I have other parts that still use that material. And I will simply say here, this is the ramen bowl, and I would like to export this CAD file as a mesh USDZ, including these materials, to my desktop. And then I can click export. Perfect. So we are in Blender now. I press A in case you have all these objects, press X and delete what we have selected. Then we can go to scene, metric, and we go to centimeter. Let's bring in our Fusion export. We go to import and then the USDZ, desktop, there it is. Click import. The whole screen is gray because if I now with the scroll wheel zoom out, there is the vessel. If I click on this part, press N, I will see, oh, this thing is 14,778 centimeters big. So this is quite too big. There are two ways to fix this. First, press A to select everything. Then we go to parent and say clear parent. This ramen bowl empty, we select, press X to delete. We select everything again with A, shift left mouse button, select one object. And then the next step is important. We hold the Option and or Alt key based on if you Mac or PC. Click and drag. And then we type in .01 and enter. So now you see this is 14.8 centimeters. We can go to frame selected inside the view menu. And there we are. Beautiful. Okay. We can press A, select everything, say apply scale. So now the scale factors are 1 to 1 and the objects have exactly the correct height. So let me show you step 2. I will create a new file. There we are, AXD, delete it, file, import, there it is, there. And then here we have to type in .001 and press import. Then view frame selected, click the bowl, press N, and here I want this to be centimeters. There, perfectly fits. We can press A, go to object menu, parent, clear parent with transformation if we want to, press A and apply the transformation, select this empty X and delete it. There. Perfect. Cool. Okay. So we have that basically brought in now. Now we would like to bring in a nice picture of the ramen filling. I have my 3D cursor here. In case somebody doesn't, Shift S cursor to the world origin, and then we go to add mesh and circle. Then I go to here and say 64 facets. Very good. Click and drag, make this one smaller. Very good. We can move this one a little bit up. Yeah, zoom in. It is actually too small. There. In my case, 7 seems to be it. Yeah. Perfect. Cool. Okay, so with this ring selected, we then go into edit mode. Wireframe mode, you see all this is selected. Very good. Otherwise, press A and then press F so we can fill it. Now, this is a nice filled flat surface. And here comes the trick now. We will go ahead and say, go to materials, new material. Then, for example, that will be ramen. I can go to base material and say image texture, click open, and we're going to assign this image to it. Click open. Let's click on this one to see what we see here. We don't really see anything, and that is all okay. So I will move this one up. Then I switch one to UV editor. There we are. I am inside the 3D view mode in edit mode. I can go to UV, unwrap, and say, sure, what should we use? Maybe angle based. Very good. Oh, look at that. You see here, there is the ring. That is basically this mesh. So this is 3D view, and this is kind of like a 2D representation. Think about this as a cardboard box we unflattened. So here we can press A to select the UV layout. Press S to scale this one down. Press G to move this to the center, and then press S to scale this back up. And you might notice that, so wherever this geometry is on the image, that is what I will see in 3D view. So that's basically UV unwrapping in a nutshell. Very good. I would like the shrimp to be more here. So in this view, I could press R to rotate, and I'm just rotating the geometry and see what will look better. Yeah, maybe like this. Nice. So mushrooms, shrimp, noodles, vegetables, wooden handle. Okay, perfect. This can go down. We can then leave the edit mode. That is perfect. I will then go ahead and say add to plane. Mouse wheel zoom out. There we are. And I would like to go to edit mode, point select, click, shift mouse button, click these 2 points. E for extrude, Z to go up. We can move this a little bit back. Leave edit mode. We made a very simplistic backdrop. I would like to round this sharp edge. So we go to modifiers, add a bevel command, maybe 30 centimeters, 20 steps, 4 steps. You see, with more, it gets smoother. Profile 0.6, so it's a nicer flow, maybe even 0.7. Yeah, that looks nice. Right mouse button, click shade smooth, so it's nice and smooth. Very good. Then we are now ready to start our scene. So world, strength 0. We can change the color of white to here, but it's pretty much out. Then we go add and light, add an area light, this area light. Then I move up, let's say to there, move it over along the x-axis, I rotate it. And now I can go to render when Eevee mode. I would like to go to ray tracing to be more realistic. We can see this here. Nope. Instantly. And then if we go to rendering, there, look at this. That looks pretty nice, no? So I can move this one up. Show the 3D viewport here. So I can now actually have a side view of my environment. With G, I can move this area light around. And then in this view, I position kind of like from where I would like to see this. This looks pretty good. If I change this to 64, we get a nicer, cleaner rendering. Here we have a lot of really brushed metal. I don't know if I really want this. So maybe I go to shader editor, look at all this stuff here where we have. So maybe this one we disconnect. Good, there we are. Thank you. So that brushed look, for example, is gone. We also can switch between Eevee and cycles. Now with cycles, you see this is a better rendering. We want to go to GPU. We set this to 10 and denoise we can set to 10. We can turn this off and this off. And with control spacebar with the mouse in the 3D view, we make this full screen. And then with middle mouse button, shift middle mouse button, and scroll wheel, I kind of like find a nice position of this. The backdrop is a little bit too similar to the bowl, so I can press shift spacebar, select the backdrop, so that's a plane, go to material, new, and maybe we make this a tick darker. Okay, like this. Now you can really now see the difference. Control spacebar, there we are. N to hide this. This is great. And then all we need to do is we just make a screenshot. Cool. Okay, perfect. Control spacebar, just for test purpose. This was done with cycles. Now we're going to do one with Eevee. Shift spacebar one more time. And there. Let's do that. Perfect. Okay. Now we prepped actually our 3D scene. We created the screenshots, and now we can go over to Viscom. Okay, let's go into Viscom now. What you see here on top are the two Blender screenshots. Upper left corner, cycles rendering with a drop shadow that is soft, and upper right corner, the Eevee rendering where the drop shadow is sharp. And if you look at the two images below, which are the initial VizcomAI renderings, you will see the lighting and even the style of the shadow somewhat are carried over. And that's really the amazing thing, because this means in Blender we could position our props at the lights, prototype kind of like from where the light is coming, where the shadow is going to, so we have more control in Viscom about the lighting. From an artistic standpoint, I do prefer the lower left Viscom rendering output, so with a soft shadow. So I will use actually the cycles screenshot. So let's do a double click. Now I have here already a prompt. I will remove it and simply click on describe, because an effective description here is really key. So when you click on describe, it says a white bowl with a yellow handle containing ramen with noodles, rim eggs, greens on a gray backdrop. Yeah, that's kind of all true, but I want this to be a white backdrop instead of a yellow handle. I want this to be a bamboo wood handle. Instead of white bowl, should be white glossy plastic bowl containing ramen, bowl with a metal inside and rim, comma, a bamboo handle, maybe let's say with a white plastic bridge. That's going to be the tricky part. Containing ramen, yeah, the rest is kind of okay. Okay, so that is good. That is good. We go to render 100% and let's go. And there we are. So you see, now we have a white, not a gray backdrop. The ramen looks pretty good. Here we get some interesting details. Look, this plastic and metal separation works really good. The food is really amazing. So this image is kind of nice, like the handle, but here the rim is not correct. This is not what I want. This is all good, but then the handle has some issues and the bridge is not correct. Okay, so what happens if we simply try to generate it one more time? Now we can just continue generating different interpretations of this design as often as we want. And maybe at one point we also have some lucky hits. Nope, nope. Close, nope. Okay, let's try to generate again. Fortunately, the time it takes to generate these images is not really that long. Okay, so now there we can see what we have. Okay, so we could, when we don't get what we want, maybe lower our palette influence. We keep the drawing influence because we don't want our design to change. So maybe 80%. We can also try 90%. So the handle is good. Yeah. Okay. So in this case, for example, I know that in my initial attempts, I had a pretty good hit. For example, this one. This is actually really good. No? So I go and click add. Now, that result is here now. Perfect. Okay. I will turn this one off, go to maybe 60 now, and do another generate. Because I hope that, for example, this plastic bridge at one point will be rendered as a white plastic bridge and not a wooden bridge. And it's wood. Okay, let's regenerate. Of course, now Viscom doesn't do what it always did for me before I do the recording. I love this. Unlike A-Team, when Hannibal said he loves it when a plan works out, for me it's always the opposite. I love it when a plan does not work out. Anyway, that's good actually also to show because you can see that not everything I do works out perfect instantly, but there's also a process to make things work. Ah, there we are. Finally. Thank you. Okay, add. Sweet. Okay. So we do now have this initial rendering that looks pretty cool. And then we have this one. Yeah, that looks cool too. Now, so now we can ask ourselves, do I like this image more, but I want to swap out this handle, or do I like here this image and I just want to swap out the bridge? That's a tough question. And then I would say actually I like this image more, but actually the food here looks better. Yeah, so let's do that. So what I will do now is I will take this image and make a layer, close it, then I zoom in, I select the selection tool, draw kind of like a rough selection around this area, then go invert selection. I have this layer turned on, then I press delete, and you see now all the rest is gone. Then I can click on deselect. Beautiful. Okay, so this is a backup in case I mess up, and here's the piece I can work with. Then we can go to the erase tool. Advanced, hardness 3. Yeah, that's good. Then we zoom in. We want to select this layer again. And you see now here, I'm just simply removing the unwanted backdrop. And I'm just working on a computer with a mouse. Just so you know. Zup, there, there, and here, undo, there, maybe a little bit more, and definitely a little bit of brushy here. Okay, undo. So you see here the wooden part starts to stick through. Let me show you a trick. I'm going to add a new layer. This layer I put under this layer. Go to the paint command, zoom in, select this gray, and then I try to just paint down a little bit and paint over and paint down. So I'm extending the backdrop, and I do the same at the bottom. Go up, go over, go up. So, okay. So the reason why this is useful, if now on this layer with my handle, if I go ahead and, for example, remove too much, and I see, oh, there's a backdrop, but here now I can see where I have to stop. You could also alternatively turn the transparency off. So maybe this is another very good tool. Actually, not really. Yeah, let's go this way. Cool. Okay. Also, don't get too hung up on tiny details. Now we zoom further out. Look how this looks. Okay, so the thing is, this looks very linear. So I might want to add another layer there on top. Go to the brush command. I will select this color here. Now Option Alt, right click, make the brush, whoop, not that big. Maybe a little bit transparency. Whoa. And then a little bit of cleanup. One more here. I think the opacity was way too big, so let's undo, 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 undo. We don't have an airbrush command yet, so there. One time, there. Yeah, maybe that could do it. So I'm kind of like trying to create a nicer gradient and maybe a tiny highlight at the bottom now, because there is, of course, like light coming up from the bottom. So, okay, cool. Again, now if we zoom in, this looks kind of blotchy, but if we zoom out, it can start to look rounder. There. Ah, okay, good. So, this is maybe this one. Yeah, this can be rounded more. This was too harsh. There. Beautiful. Okay. Ready to finish it. We can simply go to Enhance. And then it takes everything what we have and tries to match it. Fingers crossed. There, look at that. Now you see here how this actually worked out. So if I turn this off, there, look at this. No? Got actually pretty good. Also, the enhance command, if we take a look at the shrimp, adds a lot of delicious detail. I changed this here a little bit. Let's not point the customer's attention to it. Anyway, so this is kind of like summarizing this process, how you can use a CAD file created in Fusion 360, then illuminate it in Blender, add textures to it, and then we bring everything into Viscom to essentially use Viscom as the AI 3D product rendering environment, like a photography studio set. Okay, perfect. That's it.